Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AES and welcome to my YouTube channel. One of, if not arguably the most popular genre in gaming is first-person shooters. When you think about titles that fit the criteria, you will have a plethora of popular options such as Killzone, Halo, and Bioshock, and you will also be able to access the more obscure members of the group like Singularity and Time Shift. Nonetheless, it is undeniable that one of the most well-known first-person shooting franchises of all time is Call of Duty. Starting in 2003, the series has been having its ups and downs and made its presence on computers, home consoles, gaming-centric handhelds, and cell phones. In today's video, we are going to go through the catalog of 30 Call of Duty games and rank them from worst to best. A few housekeeping rules before we proceed. First, every entry will only discuss the device on which I played it on. The placement of a given entry does not necessarily reflect the placement of the game's other versions. Secondly, it is important to note that even though each pick will be judged as a package, I primarily play Call of Duty for its single-player components. Thirdly, there will surely be other Call of Duty games in the near and far future, so this list is accurate as of the recording of this video. Lastly, and as always, my list is entirely subjective. If you have a different list, please let me know in the comment section and we will discuss it. Without further ado, let's rank every Call of Duty game from worst to best. Number 30, Call of Duty Heroes. As I stated at the beginning of this video, Call of Duty is a franchise that is primarily focused on first-person shooting titles. Call of Duty Heroes for mobile devices does not follow that trend. In fact, it is a top-down strategy title that is similar to Halo Wars. Unlike Halo Wars though, there are plenty of issues that prevent it from being anything of interest. Visually, Call of Duty Heroes looks very generic and reflects the presentation in most free-to-play video games. The same sense of being mundane is also applicable to the audio design. As far as the gameplay is concerned, there is really nothing special about it. The story is delivered without any voiceovers, and you cannot even control the troops and equipment that you summon onto the battlefield. Halo Wars jumped between two different types of genres in a much more successful and playable manner than Call of Duty Heroes, and I cannot think of a redeeming quality for the latter. Therefore, it is cemented at the number 30 spot and its ranking as the worst Call of Duty game of all time. Number 29, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Mobilized. The next two picks in this video are extremely close to one another since they are both on the same device and their gameplay feels extremely identical. However, number 28 has a couple of cool features that we will discuss shortly. For now, let's focus on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Mobilized, which is a prime example for the fact that at the time, Call of Duty was just not ready for mobile systems. In the case of Modern Warfare Mobilized, the problem is due to the controls. It is just way too janky and awkward to move around with the D-pad and aim with a stylus pen. The low frame rate also doesn't help the title's case. If you must only play on the Nintendo DS, I would wait a few seconds until we move to the next game. I would not recommend Call of Duty Modern Warfare Mobilized under any circumstances, unless of course, you plan to do a video similar to the one you are watching right now. Number 28, Call of Duty Black Ops DS. Call of Duty Black Ops DS can be called a copycat of Modern Warfare Mobilized. Thankfully, there are a couple of improvements that make it the preferred Call of Duty title on the Nintendo DS. On one hand, you are no longer restricted to play with a stylus pen. The game offers you an option to go about killing foes without it, which relieves the main issue with its predecessor's controls. On the other hand, Black Ops DS includes a multiplayer component, where you can go head-to-head with your friends and strangers through a bunch of modes, maps, and unlockable items. Don't get me wrong, Call of Duty Black Ops DS is not particularly a good game, but it is more tolerable than Call of Duty Modern Warfare Mobilized on the same source of gaming. Number 27, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Force Recon. The second attempt to deviate from the first-person shooting genre, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Force Recon, which includes quite a handful of a title, is a top-down third-person shooter that, in terms of presentation, resembles the very first Metal Gear game. While Call of Duty Heroes is not worth any time investment, Force Recon is a half-decent experience where you move your character and shoot enemies in a very basic fashion. Furthermore, it is the lack of difficulty and gameplay complexity that places Force Recon towards the bottom of this list. I won't go off on Modern Warfare 2 Force Recon too much because it is playable on cell phones. But if it does not convince you that Call of Duty games before 2010 were not ready for a premiere on mobile devices, I'm not sure what will. Number 26, Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. A few moments ago I stated that cell phones in the early 2000s were not ready for the prime-time debut of Call of Duty. Unfortunately, the same can be said about the 6th generation of consoles, which includes the Xbox, GameCube, and PlayStation 2. Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 maintains the first-person shooter nature of the series, but forgoes one of its key elements up until 2007. Every game in the series allowed you to experience war from the perspective of more than one individual. This time around, you only play as a single soldier from the American company called Big Red 1. The shooting mechanics are more concise from the next entry and its predecessor, but the worst aspect of both games is the lighting. If you are playing through a level that takes place when it is cloudy outside or it is nighttime, good luck seeing anything in front of you, let alone your destination outside the minimap. It makes the majority of the title a chore to complete, which ultimately sealed Big Red 1's fate as the number 26 entry on my list. Number 25, Call of Duty Finest Hour. Sadly, Call of Duty Finest Hour suffers from the same detriment as Big Red 1. The very first mission pays tribute to one of the final missions in the very first title of the franchise, but the lighting is absolutely atrocious. I had to double check with other playthroughs to see if it was only my brightness. It wasn't. In addition to the inability to see the majority of the environments, the controls are also very clunky. They are perfectly manageable, but they are nowhere near as precise or accurate as the original Call of Duty. Despite that nuance, I placed it above the previous pick because of the throwbacks to the nostalgic title from 2003. Had I not played the original Call of Duty when it came out, Finest Hour would have been lower in the rankings. Number 24, Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts. It is absolutely incredible to see the differences between the 7th generation World at War title and Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts. The former is, spoiler alert, one of the best games in the franchise. The latter is an abysmal attempt to cash in to prolong the series' existence on the PlayStation 2. The story is as generic as they come, the frame rate is inconsistent, and the visuals can create comparisons between Final Fronts and Medal of Honor Heroes on the PlayStation Portable. It also does not have a multiplayer component or the Zombies mode that exists on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of World at War. The gameplay is more acceptable than the previous entries, but I would not blame you if Final Fronts is placed lower on your list should you choose to make one. Number 23, Call of Duty Online. The placement of Call of Duty Online might be questionable. It may be an online-only game, but it is wonderfully solid. Consistent 60 frames per second, great slick visuals, and plenty of unlockables, not to mention a survival mode. I don't mind that there is a DRM policy attached to it, but I do mind the fact that it is only available in China. The limited capacity with which you can experience Call of Duty Online forces me to put it at the lower end of this list, but I'm fully aware that its quality warrants a higher ranking if the circumstances were different. Number 22, Call of Duty Strike Team. The last entry that is not a first-person shooter across the board, Call of Duty Strike Team is a combination of first-person shooting and tactical strategy. You command your squad from point A to point B, and you hop into their boots to personally take out your opponents. The controls are decent for a mobile title, and the difficulty scaling between the missions is well enough to prevent difficulty spikes and frustrations. If you can get your hands on Strike Team and you would like a shooting experience to play with your cell phones on the go, it would not be a bad idea to pick it up, even if the gameplay loop does get repetitive from time to time. Number 21, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 struck a chord with me. I previously mentioned that I primarily play the series for its bombastic campaign, which is a feature that has existed in every single entry in the franchise prior to Black Ops 4. Well, you can guess what my thoughts are when the story mode was taken out of the title and replaced with yet another Battle Royale mode. I will admit that Blackout is the most enjoyable example of the genre, as long as you play with friends. Nevertheless, asking $60 for a Call of Duty game without a campaign and the inclusion of a mediocre multiplayer component, a zombie-based experience that relies way too much on Easter eggs, and a Battle Royale mode is completely unjustified, leaving me with little choice than crowning it the title as the worst modern Call of Duty video game of all time. Number 20, Call of Duty Zombies. One of the best aspects of Call of Duty Zombies mode used to be the inclusion of scenarios where you're forced into claustrophobic environments and fight off zombies. Many people may like the following transition, but my love for the unnatural experience fell off after the original Black Ops because the follow-up titles focused too much on Easter eggs in order to be able to say that you mastered the mode. Call of Duty Zombies brings that phenomenon to its roots, and it isn't half bad. The controls are solid, the visuals are okay, and the arsenal of weaponry is quite impressive. It is only a single mode for mobile devices, so I can't place it any higher, but I would give it a chance if you are a massive fan of fighting off the undead in Call of Duty. Number 19, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. Although a handful of titles managed to implement the process of aiming correctly, the first-person shooting genre did not have a strong presence on the PlayStation Portable. The inclusion of a single analog stick and the need to use the face buttons to aim led to situations where targeting enemies in titles such as Coated Arms did not feel natural. With the arrival of the PlayStation Vita and its dual analog sticks, you would hope that the genre would thrive here. Killzone Mercenary was excellent and served as a reason to buy the PlayStation Vita. Can I say the same about Black Ops Declassified? Nope, not by a long shot. I will confess that the controls in Black Ops Declassified are quite manageable, and if you must experience Call of Duty on the go that feels like a traditional game in the franchise, Declassified is the way to go. With that being said, there are several problems that hold it back from delivering on its potential. The Hostiles mode is easily exploitable, the campaign feels like a series of individualized missions instead of a long narrative, and there are only 5 match types for its multiplayer. Black Ops Declassified is the Call of Duty title that serves as the middle ground on this list. It is nowhere near amazing, but it is not atrocious by any means. It's just okay. Number 18, Call of Duty Mobile. The best Call of Duty experience on the go, Call of Duty Mobile may bring up a call out of hypocritical behavior by yours truly. I was not a fan of Black Ops 4 because it did not have a campaign and replaced it with a Battle Royale mode. Call of Duty Mobile does not have a story mode and solely includes multiplayer and a Battle Royale mode. Therefore, why am I giving Mobile a pass while heavily criticizing Black Ops 4? It is quite simple. The former is free, the latter costs $60. The former's free nature does not stop it from providing a good gaming experience with solid controls, fast-paced movements, and surprisingly enough, a 100-player Battle Royale event. Only one of the available modes appeals to me, but the entire package is not terrible for a compilation that you can access without spending a dime. Number 17, Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019. I can imagine that some of you may be surprised that 2019's Modern Warfare is placed slightly higher than the halfway point on this list. The presentation is excellent, the story is interesting, and some of the missions are very intense. The one stage that always comes to mind is where you are asked to enter a house that is encompassed in darkness and not harm any civilians. It seems like I'm praising the campaign, which is my most sought out aspect of any Call of Duty game. Nonetheless, I must take the other modes into consideration when I review the entire product, and the 3 additional experiences have respective issues. The special ops missions are too hard for their own good, the Battle Royale is, well, a Battle Royale mode, and the multiplayer specifically caters to individuals who either sit idly by in corners and wait for their opponents to approach them, or folks who solely use shotguns. 3/4 of Modern Warfare were frustrating for one reason or another. I plan to return to the title to earn the Platinum Trophy again, but afterwards I won't be able to find it within me to reinstall the modern version of Modern Warfare ever again. Number 16, Call of Duty Road to Victory. Do you remember our conversation about Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified when it comes to its implementation of 2 analog sticks? It is time to revert back and talk about an entry for a system that only has 1 analog stick. Call of Duty Road to Victory continued the streak of World War II games in the franchise, but it was the first time that you could kick the crap out of your opponents while sitting on a bench in the park. At its core, it's not an abysmal video game. Multiple perspectives return from their absence in Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, and there's ad hoc multiplayer that allows you and 5 other players to play against each other, as long as each participant has a copy of Road to Victory and a PlayStation Portable. Let's get back to the topic of the analog stick for a few seconds. The problem with the PlayStation Portable was the lack of 2 analog sticks, which is one of the most convenient ways to play first-person shooting titles. To compensate for it, the developers of the PSP game decided to incorporate an aim assist. It is a nice gesture, but it causes the game's downfall from being great to being slightly above average. When the aim assist is active, you can kill your enemies as long as they are on screen. When the aim assist is inactive, it is a real hassle to target the bad guys. You receive this double-edged sword for free when you buy Call of Duty Roads to Victory, so keep it in mind in case you're looking into testing the first Call of Duty game on a handheld device. Number 15. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. As a lover of storytelling, I was torn on where I should place Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on this list. It has great gameplay, an engaging zombies mode while keeping the tradition of hunting for Easter eggs, and a multiplayer component that, while hectic, was strangely enjoyable. Did you notice that I did not make a reference to its campaign? It is not because it did not have one, but rather due to illogical sequences that are delivered through its story mode. I was excited to hear that Christopher Meloni from Law & Order SVU would play an integral role in the plot, but even his cool performance could not stop me from reaching the end credits and scratching my head in bewilderment as to what transpired. I will not spoil it here, but Black Ops 3's status as the game with my least favorite story in the franchise is the reason as to why the title is placed at the number 15 spot. It is good but could have been much better had it have a coherent tale. Number 14. Call of Duty 3. My impressions on Call of Duty 3 have substantially changed from my first playthrough to the second playthrough that was conducted last year. I remember when I came to my grandparents' place in the United States for the first time, and they installed the PlayStation 3 for me and my brothers. We plugged in Call of Duty 3 and we were enamored by its visuals. It was also pretty rad that there were motion controls, which we have never experienced prior to that date. After 14 years, I went back to it and I was not so kind to it. The presentation still holds up nicely and the campaign is lengthy while giving you the chance to experience history from multiple perspectives. But the motion controls are gimmicky, the multiplayer is very exploitable, and the plot itself is a jumbled mess. Call of Duty 3 is underrated due to its first implementation of motion controls, and it is interesting to experience it firsthand, but it is not necessarily a game that I would blindly support without questioning its quality. Number 13. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. The first exclusive title on the last generation of consoles, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is very decent at its execution. The extremely cool set pieces return, survival mode is a nice change of pace from the traditional zombie-based experience, and Kevin Spacey's character is charismatic. The actor nowadays is not the most likable individual, but it won't prevent me from complimenting his performance. The stakes in the narrative are also intense, with the final 3 missions in particular being unsuspectingly emotional for a Call of Duty game. Nevertheless, there are a few problems with it that ought to be mentioned. There are a few noticeable pop-in textures during the campaign, in addition to narrative choices that don't make that much sense. The multiplayer is also overwhelmingly hectic, with players running across walls and using jetpacks to eliminate their targets. Titanfall 2 was much successful in that concept in Advanced Warfare. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is a nice attempt for the first exclusive Call of Duty title on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, but it did not deliver a true next-generation experience like we would have hoped. Number 12. Call of Duty 2. Call of Duty 2 is the debut of the series on the 7th generation of consoles and, more specifically, on the Xbox 360. In some regards, there is a needed series of improvements over its predecessor on PC. There is more variety in the gameplay mechanics and the stages. The minor and seldom frame rate hiccups are gone. The sound design continued to set the bar for first-person shooters at the time. It is a great experience that takes place during World War II, and after a couple of underwhelming Call of Duty titles on the 6th generation of consoles, I can only imagine how rejoiced console players were upon its release. It has a type of mission that repeats itself a bit too much, namely defend this zone until help arrives. Still, Call of Duty 2 is the first entry in the franchise that commences a streak of recommendations by yours truly. Number 11. Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts received a heap of flack upon release due to its multiplayer component. Let's get something clear. Yes, playing against other players was an average experience. Sometimes my impressions of it were lessened by uninspired maps and frustrating spawn points. I will be honest with you about another piece of Ghosts. I had a blast with its other sections. The campaign was wonderful and included various set pieces. It's a shame that the ending left us in a cliffhanger that will probably never be resolved, but I'm glad to have spent time with a villain that was subtle and suspenseful. Extinction is a refreshing take on the horde mode, and I appreciated it because I was a bit sick of fighting zombies over and over again. Furthermore, Safeguard made the return of survival mode for Modern Warfare 3, which I thoroughly liked. If one of the companies that work on the Call of Duty games Would like to make a sequel to Call of Duty Ghosts? I would support it 100%. Number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. One of this video's rules was to focus on specific versions of the Call of Duty games. If I check out the random list of top 10 Call of Duty games, I am almost bound to see Black Ops 2 on the top. For me, the game is at the number 10 spot, which may raise some eyebrows. Hear me out. The level designs are fantastic, and so is the compilation of sound effects. The story is personal and exciting. There are multiple endings, which was a first for the franchise. Unfortunately, there are two obstacles that stand in front of Black Ops 2 on the way to the top of this list. On one hand, the last mission is a bit disappointing. I felt like the ultimate takedown of the antagonist was laughably rushed, and it should have been reserved for one extra mission at the end. On the other hand, Black Ops 2 started a sequence of over-reliance on Easter eggs in subsequent zombies experiences. I always enjoyed the more basic fights against the undead. I know that many people enjoy the Easter eggs, I personally don't, and I think it is a waste of time. I also should mention that the PlayStation 3 version, at the very least, has inconsistent frame rates. It will run at 60 frames per second throughout most of the playthrough, but sometimes it will dip to 30 frames per second and even lower. Black Ops 2 has one of the best narratives in the franchise, but as a collection of modes, it doesn't do well with the upcoming Call of Duty titles. Number 9, Call of Duty World War II. After several games that take place in modern times or in the future, Call of Duty returned in 2017 to its roots with Call of Duty World War II. Instead of reminding us that we'd rather forget the games that told the same type of plot on repeat, the title at the number 9 spot is one of the best ways to experience the atmosphere that soldiers had to endure from 1939 to 1945. The campaign is excellent and has likable characters. The presentation is superb. The multiplayer is very good and implements several surprising match types, the best of which is Prop Hunt, where you disguise yourself as an inanimate object and hope that other players don't find you. It is essentially hide and seek, but I thought it was hilarious. If it weren't for a slow-paced first act during the story mode and the continued reliance on Easter eggs while battling zombies, Call of Duty World War II would have been higher on this list. As of now, it will stay put at its current placement on my list. Number 8, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Arguably a controversial placement, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was on the receiving end of gamers' hatred when the first trailer was released. At that point, we jokingly said, wait for it, Call of Duty will go into space. We laughed and laughed. Lo and behold, Infinite Warfare really decided to venture off outside of Earth. You only need to see the like to dislike ratio of the reveal trailer to see that the player base was not on board with the game's setting. It also hurt the title's image by locking Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered behind the $20 paywall, which was only accessible with the deluxe edition of Infinite Warfare. After I played the futuristic Call of Duty game, I was impressed by it, and especially with its campaign. It is constantly engaging and has awesome side content. The story isn't half bad either. As far as the multiplayer and zombie mode are concerned, both are only decent, with the former being less likable than the latter. Nevertheless, I would highly recommend that you check out Infinite Warfare's campaign, as it is the only reason you need to give the title a shot. Number 7, Call of Duty. We have made it to the very first Call of Duty game, and it is a great experience. The inclusion of multiple campaigns was a game changer for its time, the presentation was mesmerizing, and the multiplayer is a real treat. It was also the only core game for a while that asked you to find first aid packs to heal as opposed to regenerative health. I had a blast with it upon release, and I loved every moment of it. Odd moments of freezing and a lackluster final mission during the plot prevented from being at the top of this list, but the original Call of Duty will always have a special place in my heart for being a fantastic experience and, as far as I can remember, being my introduction to the first-person shooting genre. Number 6, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The conclusion to the Modern Warfare trilogy, Modern Warfare 3 is, for the lack of a better term, epic. The hunt around the world for Vladimir Makarov is enthralling, action-heavy, and perpetually well executed. Yes, it does have a few missions that are interestingly identical to the first Modern Warfare title, but I cannot deny that I had fun with the game. The visuals and sound design are superb, the overall narrative has some surprising moments, and the Spec Ops and survival modes are beautifully entertaining, albeit intense. The multiplayer component took a couple steps back from its predecessors, but I cannot deny the quality of Modern Warfare 3 when the entire series of modes is taken into consideration. Number 5. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I may be a loner with this opinion, but I cannot emphasize enough how much I adore Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It is not the first exclusive game for the next generation of consoles, but I'm excited to see how the traditional developers will take advantage of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X later down the road. The inclusion of multiple endings and various ways to approach certain levels place the campaign as the single-player experience in the franchise with the most variety. The presentation is exceptional, the modes where you fight other players and zombies are great, and the adaptive triggers on the PlayStation 5 controller are gimmicky, but also cool. You have heard me complain time and time again about Easter eggs in previous Call of Duty games. Among all of them, their presence in Cold War is actually well thought out and pays tribute to the previous Black Ops games. My only criticism is the short length time of the story mode, which lasted for 3 hours during my playthrough. If it weren't for the PlayStation 5's small hard drive, I would have kept playing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War to this date. I hope that the next Call of Duty titles only improve upon the foundation that was put in place by Cold War. Number 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. By the time Call of Duty 3 came out, the franchise has become stagnant due to the repetitive nature of living in the shoes of a soldier during World War II again and again. It may contribute to the reason as to why the title was not well received as the original game and its sequel. In 2007, 2 occurrences took place. The Call of Duty series was rejuvenated, and the entire first-person shooting genre was shaken to its core and warned that a new bar has been set. Unlike the Call of Duty titles prior to 2007, Modern Warfare brings the setting to current times, and it was such a welcome change. It maintained the smooth gameplay, the intense set pieces, and the great sound design. With that being said, it also incorporated a revolutionary multiplayer component that has arguably not been topped to this day by any game in the series, with one exception that will be revealed shortly. It also included a narrative that is nicely paced, varied with its mission structure, and displays a certain moment of shock and awe. I do have to call out the remastered version, which forces consumers to repurchase multiplayer maps that they already own on the 7th generation of consoles. This pick focuses on the Xbox 360 version of Modern Warfare, and as such, the praise will remain on said version. I just had to make my point, and now we can continue with this list. Number 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. While the first Modern Warfare revived the Call of Duty genre and encouraged upcoming shooters to pick up the slack, Modern Warfare 2 takes the building blocks that were set by 2007's title and continued to build on top of them. The campaign is not only better due to its narrative, but it is also superior due to the variety in locales that you will visit during your playthrough. It also has one of the biggest twists I have ever witnessed in a first-person shooting game. Putting the story mode aside, Special Ops is my favorite co-op experience in the genre, and the multiplayer supersedes the original Modern Warfare when it comes to the maps designs, match types, and unlockables. The latter includes some instances of lag, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the pinnacle of the franchise when it comes to modern settings. Number 2. Call of Duty World at War. The best first-person shooting game that is set in World War II, Call of Duty World at War is incredible. The story takes place in both Japan and Germany, and each portion is completely unique from one another, which is awesome. I would like to give a huge shout out to Reznov, who is one of the most charismatic characters in the entire franchise. The visuals are great, the soundtrack is engrossing, and the multiplayer experience is an absolute blast. World at War is also the first game that introduced the zombies mode, and I love its intense yet basic nature. No Easter eggs. You are simply confined to a house and you must survive waves after waves of undead creatures. It's fun by yourself, but even more so with friends. World at War would have had a chance to be the best title in the franchise, but ultimately the AI in the campaign is a mixed bag. Your teammates don't do much, and the enemies can be quite infuriating. If you ask anyone to name the hardest campaign in a Call of Duty game, you'll most likely have him or her name World at War. I hope you're ready for a slew of grenades if you are brave enough to take on the plot on the hardest difficulty setting. All in all, World at War is still an amazing first-person shooting experience, and I wholeheartedly advise you to play it. Number 1. Call of Duty Black Ops. All of the previous entries on this list had a mode with which I had some type of issue. The story was either disappointing in a certain regard, the multiplayer was not anything to write home about, or the Zombies mode, once again, focus way too much on Easter eggs. Call of Duty Black Ops is the first title that does not give me any major issues with its modes. The narrative is top notch and includes a twist that you will not see coming. The multiplayer is exciting and includes the ability to unlock and test all the attachments and equipment against bots, which is an underappreciated feature. The Zombies mode maintains the simplistic style of World at War, but takes place in several areas of a larger building instead of a two-story house. The Dead Spec Ops arcade mode is also fun. I can go on and on about this game and how utterly fantastic it is. It is not a perfect game, and my complaints are straight up nitpicking. It would have been cool if the Zombies mode integrated some type of a plot, and the song that plays in the background after the final level is really odd.
And taste, I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith.
Nonetheless, no game in the franchise has surpassed the first Black Ops to this date, which is why it is, in my opinion, the best Call of Duty game of all time, or at the very least, as of the recording of this video. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. Which Call of Duty game is your favorite? Which one is your least favorite? What would you like to see in the next Call of Duty game? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.